It seems that Hungry for More has been doing their homework in the first game with Xingwei. We'll see if in the second game Cringe Crew will respond by taking that away.
Let's go then to game 2. Pick some bands. They're ready.
Up with the ultimate, not going to find anyone. There's the combo. Kero off the assist. There's Kero, double kill from the side lane. Comes out onto Dimmy. Kero winds up with a triple kill at the 10-minute mark. Repikas lands down. Half health for the Titans. Axioz takes out Janus.
That is it. Axioz and Repikas, the team are respawning. Well, we came into this and Tolly was saying he expected Hungry for More to 2-0 based on their run they've had just lately. Cringe Crew, though, put on a very good performance in that game, and I don't think you can count them out in game 2 either.
You can't count them out. They've adapted to the early aggression from Hungry for More in the earlier stages of the game. However, Hungry for More were able to turn that around on them in the late game. They have a lot of experience in the late game, and the way Twig played it against Kero, it was a very simple strategy that worked out very effectively, and it didn't allow Cringe Crew to really leave their base. The one time that they felt comfortable enough with Fire Giant, they got instantly punished for it.
Zeus banned by Cringe Crew. Maybe Guan, if you're going to go for the tier option again, maybe Guan Yu was one of the factors to like weather the storm for Hungry for More through that mid game where they were starting to struggle. Do you want to take away Guan Yu from them this game somehow?
The sustain was really important for them to have. If you're going to give up Guan Yu, you better have better anti-healing options. Maybe putting the Sobek on EmilZy instead.
Good call. Capri, banned out, and Raijin from Hungry for More one more time. Same bands they did last time. Same bands, actually, from Cringe Crew as well. So both still happy with the initial band strategy. Cringe Crew with first pick. Last time round, I believe they went for... Who was it? It wasn't Janus.
It definitely wasn't Janus, as that was on PrettyPriMe, but going to take that away from them. It was indeed the Apollo that was played onto Shaggyshenk, dealing with the Xingwei on Ataraxia. We'll see which way Ataraxia will choose to go, as both of those gods are open for him.
And when you mentioned the Hunter as well, Hungry for More seem to have this strategy a little bit more of holding their Hunter pick until a little bit later. We've seen Chiron come out as a last pick before. We've seen the Xingwei now. Maybe they're happy to have sort of a matchup that favors their Hunter in this game.
It seems that Shaggyshenk wasn't necessarily ready for it. The early laning phase, when both the supports left, Ataraxia was able to outpush Shaggyshenk because of those explosive bolts. With the throwing dagger, able to just outclear him in the earlier stages, min-maxing the back harpies off of every single back, allows him to maximize that GPM.
And not just that, he was also managing to pressure the tower a little bit more when we saw Shaggyshenk have to go back to base, and that created that little tier 1 fight that we saw when it was on very low health. Shaggyshenk hadn't had the response, but Hungry for More this time, they switch things up. They're going to take tier for themselves and give it over to their boy, Variety. What does Axioz have in the bank himself then?
We'll see what he does to respond to this tier. So far, Variety, this is his 9th game, I believe, in 20... This is the 22nd game that Hungry for More is playing. 9th tier so far picked. And they better have an answer to this. If they took it away game 1 and you're going to leave it open for game 2, they should have a response. Going to take the Guan Yu.
So we're going to see the sustain comp come out of Cringe Crew a little bit more, but controlling the jungle this time is going to be Thor for Repikas, not the Humbats that we saw last game. Similar situation, although Thor can come on a line a little bit more, potentially early on. Repikas is known for a very strong Thor play when he's on his game.
It's good long-range setup with the Janus. You have the global presence as well, the Thor and the Janus, pairing those two up. Bacchus is going to be picked up in return for Hungry for More, trying to get some more counter-aggression as well. Does have some anti-healing options available to them as well. And this is the difference the two teams had. The last time they didn't have, Cringe Crew didn't have the anti-healing support. This time Hungry for More does.
And the anti-healing support back is Belch does reduce the healing coming out from champions and gods as well. So just keep an eye on that one. Ares banned again. So once again, Hungry for More recognizing Cringe Crew's options here. They went for the Athena last time. Well, this time it'll be the Sobek. So they could see the Athena come back out this time round. Do you expect?
If Athena is on the table, more than likely Cringe Crew will take it. EmilZy likes to play these initiation-style supports, and it's so easy to just dash taunt anybody with an Athena, especially when you're getting set up with more follow-up damage from the Thor hammer, the Janus unstable vortex as well. That would be a very easy pick, especially when your aggressive supports, Ares and Sobek, are off the table.
And you actually mentioned there about the support. Well, more about the Hunter bans coming out from Cringe Crew. They ban the Xingwei, they ban the Apollo, and so Hungry for More, they're going to give Ataraxia Chiron.
Chiron going to get locked in for Ataraxia. He's very comfortable on this god. a lot of teams haven't been playing against Chiron because of the recent nerfs to him. And because of that fact alone, Ataraxia is like, I'm going to use that to my advantage.
Because people don't know how to play against it because they've not been playing against it recently?
Yeah, exactly. And like they're not going to expect certain mechanics. Maybe it might slip their mind here or there, the knockback from the charge that he has available to him.
That's what I was going to say about the charge there. I mean, the thing I'm realizing about Ataraxia more and more is that he seems to do very well on these gods with mobility. He's got, you know, Jingwei, Apollo, both with very good escapes. Chiron as well has good escape mechanics, and we've seen him a little bit on the Sol, and Rama is another one. Anything that he's got some mobility on his Hunter on, he seems to be a little bit more confident and play it a little bit stronger. Sol and Geb was the final lineup for Cringe Crew there, so some more control on the backside as well as another option for engage with the Geb, which we've not seen so much of this season. But finally, Hungry for More going to go for the snipe attacks with Chiron and Ra being a combo.
We mentioned the last game that the Hunbats could have set up potentially the middle Ra with the Searing Pain. This game specifically, we have the Bacchus in the tier to set up the Ra Searing Pain. So there's going to be a lot of damage and follow-up off of the Nemesis, the Bacchus, and the tier to set up the Ra for a lot of damage.
Ra into Thor, though. Thor's pretty good against Ra, right?
Well, the Ra doesn't have a clear-cut escape, so if you can pin him against the wall with Tectonic Rift, there's nowhere for him to go.
Let's find out then. Game 2, Hungry for More are up 1. Cringe Crew looking to make the split.
Looking for first blood is Hungry for More, and it's enough to take out Carino. PrettyPriMe with the 1-2 punch.
No, he's dead.
Teleport.
He's 100% dead. Unless he can like one-shot Shaggy.
Fantastic play by Variety, forcing the issue.
Game 1, Hungry for More's way, Cringe Crew though. Well, I like their composition a little bit more this time round here. I think Cringe Crew won the draft for me.
Cringe Crew has a lot of long-range setup, like we mentioned. We also have the safety get pick onto EmilZy, normally known for more of these aggro supports. Now going to switch things up a little differently with the Geb, recognizing the fact that there is a Nemesis and a Bacchus that's going to want to all-in your team comp. I like the idea that Cringe Crew has to play very safe. You have the sustain on Axioz as well. You have the Geb shield on EmilZy. You have the mobility on Kero. And you have a wall for Repikas. It's looking really balanced.
PrettyPriMe here, going a little bit aggressive. We've not seen any power poke come out of him here, looking towards either a very fast Book of Toth or a very fast Soul Reaver.
It's more than likely going to be the Book of Thoth. He wants to build those stacks early on, get the mana, get the MP5 as well. Going to allow him to stay in the laning phase a little bit longer. Not having those health potions could potentially hurt him. And if Cringe Crew recognizes the build coming out of PrettyPriMe, they have to exploit that, especially when you have an aggressive Thor building the red pot.
Do you want to see Repikas go aggro this game at the start of this if they see this build from Prime?
I want him to instantly Tectonic Rift him against the wall and just... first blood.
Delete him,
just
basically.
Delete him.
Yeah, see if they can do it, especially with Janus following up on Kero, who himself hasn't got a power potion, though. Only the junglers went for power potions this time round. Supports, however, EmilZy did go for Blink at the start on Geb. Now, Geb, normally, we've seen a lot of players either play two ways, play the defensive option on Geb through the first 12 levels and then get the Blink, or start with it, which shows that he can be focused early on if the situation arises, he gets caught out.
I like what Repikas did there, using his Berserker Barrage in preparation for the Fearless. Obviously, you can't get knocked back, and now there's no dash available for Variety. He's in trouble.
He really is in trouble, but look at the turnaround. They're looking at Variety. Repikas now jumps to the hammer in the back and will find Variety for first blood, but now Twig is committed and gets picked up for a double kill for the boys of Cringe Crew, 1 to each of them, and that is what a great start for them. And this could be a different game now.
This could be as well. Jungler controlling the pace of the game. He's already level 3 before any mid-harpies were taken off the board.
Yeah, Imps did go down though, but like I said, mid-harpy's still available in the war coverage in Cringe Crew's favor. Left-hand side, pressure coming out from the boys of Cringe Crew again. Shaggyshenk back to the Sol. He's been playing a lot of Sol and Chronos this year, and his mages have been on point for the most part.
A lot of mages, but recently have been switching it up to a little bit more physical, a lot onto the Apollo as well. Hungry for More able to get the left side mid-harpies, as looks like Cringe Crew hitting level 4 on the middle side.
In a bit of trouble in mid there. That wall just a little bit off the mark. He stood a step nicely there, did Twig. Mention him again though, he did use a power potion at the start of this game, so there's another 450 gold wasted and an advantage to Cringe Crew as they're looking to seal away the back harpies, which is going to be successful there. And Repikas should be approaching 5 very, very soon.
And if he hits 5 in the backside harpies, that's going to allow him to gank underneath.
I think he needs like 2 creeps.
He's more than likely going to hit 5 off of this wave, and then from here, he's going to decide what he wants to do off of this. There's no potential camps for him to invade, but he could just sit in the jungle just by pretending to gank it, which is going to force both side lanes to just kind of respect that global presence. essence.
On the Moe to the right side jungle, nothing really available here. Just going to head back towards the back harpies, I guess. But nope, still hanging in mid. I think he's looking to pressure here, especially now that he just saw the back coming out from actually both mid laners. I guess he's just going to farm the wave then. Left-hand side's a little bit difficult for him to pressure, though, I guess, because of how pushed up his team are.
Yeah, when you got an advantage in the solo lane because you got an early double kill, obviously Guan Yu is just going to outpush the tier in that situation. And the aggressive solo Geb, which is unnormally aggressive. Normally you don't see the solo lane Geb being able to outpush any duo lane. However, it is going to be the Chiron early game with the Bacchus, so they're not able to just outpush quite yet.
No variety there. Had to head back to base, so lost a couple of creeps to the tower there. A little bit of gold denied from Axioz again with that early advantage of hitting 5 and making sure variety couldn't end up coming back with the teleport because he had to waste it earlier on. So small advantages being gained by Cringe Crew off the start of this game.
Small advantages right now. It's a 1,000 gold lead for Cringe Crew at the 3-minute mark. If this was a 1,000 gold lead at the 13-minute mark, this would be a completely different story. But the fact that it's this early on could potentially lead to a snowball depending on how Repikas and Kero play together, whether they want to do their own speed buff or whether they're going to look to invade the speed buff.
Well, let's see, because Repikas still has that power pot and full warrior tabby after the great start to the game. It's Axioz, though, that's trying to hang around here and look at what's going on with this speed buff. The difference is, though, Variety recognizing this and actually creates a nice zone to keep him away.
So the good advantage for Cringe Crew here is they push the mid wave, but now they can invade the enemy blue if they choose to do so. They didn't go for the speed. They don't have their own speed, but blue buff is open. Guan Yu is rotating as well.
You can see the pings actually coming out there as well from the mid lane of Kero, letting him know what's going on. Twig being focused, the shield comes out, has the dash available, I believe, if he can get away, but he's looking for danger zone. Unstable Vortex comes out, Repi in the sky, not going to find the dunk, doesn't have a wall, hammer down for another 2 seconds. CaptainTwig will survive and get some sustain from PrettyPriMe.
No buff has been stolen quite yet. We do have EmilZy rotating as well, so it's a 4v4 fight while the Hunters are just relaxing in the duo lane, trying to get their GPM online. Cringe Crew just going to take that for what it's worth. Force the purification.
Seemed a little bit awkward from Cringe Crew, though. It should have been a confirmed kill, realistically, with how they could have played that one out, but just off the mark with a couple of abilities, and in the end, Variety manages to survive, and they don't lose a buff either.
The one advantage that Hungry for More has is the fact that now that they got their own speed buff, Cringe Crew has yet to pick up their own speed buff. They've been delaying it just because they wanted to invade so badly, trading 1-for-1 mid-harpies, still favoring Hungry for More in their potential comeback strategy.
It's a delayed experience advantage there for Hungry for More to even it more. As the imps go down again for Repikas, we see a lot of this on this right-hand side now from these two teams especially. Very much focused on trying to control these and just get that extra 90 gold in the bank. Blue buff being started by Repikas, giving over to Axioz again. Axioz with the Warrior Tabby online as well in a comfortable position after that first kill. But to be fair, Variety's not going to be too worried here in the solo lane. He's very much used to the situation.
He's used to playing tier indeed. I'm surprised that they didn't take it away from him in the second game in a row. Now, Repikas getting his speed buff at the 5-minute mark. This is going to allow him to potentially invade Cringe Crew's next speed buff moving forward.
Good call. So just delaying it yourself means that you can try and look for the next one as well. They don't really have the timer though, do they?
They were around the corner when it was being started, so they might not necessarily have it on the minimap, but they might have the mental note timer in their heads.
Well, CaptainTwig did survive that last little gank there. Continuing on, his speed buff has run out now, and you see it'll be available in about a minute's time, more than likely. Let's head back to mid once again, and even though we've had action, we've not really seen too many kills other than the very, very beginning of the game, where the old school, I want to say, of the jungler solo laner combining in that very first wave just went the way of Cringe Crew.
When soloing was first introduced, both the solo laner and the jungler liked to 2v2 fight, and the better composition would more than likely win. In that spot right there, Thor getting an advantage with his passive, getting extra physical power for every god that is nearby, favoring him there, getting the easy 2 kills. But now he has to transition this into further on, and with that, Variety finds a solo kill as a result.
Variety gets a solo kill, is not being pressured out here. He's going to take a lot of tower shots, though, coming out from that, but he should be okay. But look at this, Repikas trying to make a rotation round for him, and I don't think Variety recognizes that just yet. He should know the pings are now coming out for him. He's still got Lawbringer, but I don't know how Variety managed to kill Axioz there, especially without using the Lawbringer. Cavalry charge was burnt, but somehow he still chased up and found the kill. Variety, that was a really good individual play. Whatever happened there, I think I've got to say it was either Variety outplayed him or Axioz made a small mistake somehow.
At this stage of the game, when Guan Yu is level 8 and the tier is level 9, the tier has a higher level heal because his heal is his clear at the same time, whereas Guan Yu is obviously not going to max out his heal early on in laning phase. So therefore, the longer these exchanges go, the multiple laning phases every 30 seconds with a wave meeting in the middle, that's going to favor Variety.
And Variety now in a pretty good position over in that lane now to turn around. Wall off the bat from from Repikas there. Going to get belched on by MANALIKE on that Bacchus. And well, that's one thing Bacchus does like his mana because of the fact that he needs that for the chug passive to keep that going. Left Harpy's going to be down for another minute, but red buff started up by CaptainTwig here, between Repikas doing back Harpies.
And with the solo kill onto the soul lane, the gold has been basically almost even up now. They were behind about 300 gold earlier in the soul lane specifically, now only behind 100 gold in the soul lane. The team's still behind as a whole, however.
And PrettyPriMe in the mid lane has finished his boots there. He's been online for a while for him on that Raw. Did start, like we said, with that Book of Tough potential rush, but went invested straight into boots and wasn't punished at all by Cringe Crew. Even though Repikas, got off to that flying start in the jungle, we didn't see any pressure onto him.
Well, if we saw like a normal start where they both get into the middle lane and they expose their weaknesses, we do have a blink from EmilZy.
Yeah, they're looking for a lot of pressure. Shield comes out early, double tap, does go off from Repikas and he gets away, but Twig under pressure. Reppy's in the sky, gonna find the dunk and annihilate CaptainTwig for another kill for Cringe Crew. Still though in the jungle, the fight going on, and pressure is actually onto Shaggyshenk, but he portals through into the snipes of Ataraxia, who's always on point with him. Now EmilZy in an awkward spot, has a shield, the knockup was good. Oh my god, the turnaround double kill comes out from Cringe Crew. What a play! They do lose EmilZy, but they still manage to find more kills.
It was a great rotation from Variety, and now Variety's going to get cleaned up by Axioz with a stun. Can he find the Fearless under the tower? Not going to find it. He's going to get traded off as well. Perfect tectonic grid, setting up 3 members, getting double tap and unstable vortex.
At the same time as we saw the knockup come out from EmilZy, which kept them all in place and allowed him to live just long enough for all that damage to come down, and it sets Cringe Crew up into a great position now. 4-0-2 on Repikas's Thor this game. There's been a lot of talk about Repikas, and like a lot of players have said, and Hungry for More themselves, like Ataraxia is mentioning, he has good games and he has bad games. He's very inconsistency is what people have said about Repikas, but when he goes off, my oh my, can he carry from the jungle?
He's been playing a lot of Thor in his past history, and now he's definitely gotten off to the right foot at the beginning of this game, setting off the pace right there. Connecting with that Thor ultimate was very crucial to get the early game advantage. Now they're able to get the blue buff for Axioz. Now they have to make sure that Axioz is going to position himself in teamfights the same way that Variety did the last game.
We'll see if that work out 6-3. Heading to the 10-minute mark now as well. Left-hand side, though, a little bit grouping up, looking for ward coverage around the Gold Fury area as per usual. Both teams trying to set up for that. EmilZy does have a sentry online, but probably looking for a little bit more backup here as a ward does get cleared there. And a little bit of control for Hungry for More there as EmilZy just going to head back to mid and take some free poke.
We mentioned the get pick onto EmilZy, normally known for the more aggressive supports. However, picking up the blink early on, it's going to allow him to play the Geb very aggressively, allowing for the rest of his team to set up after the initiation.
His Geb is very, very strong though. He's very comfortable with all the supports, and one of the first games I ever saw EmilZy play was back in the days of Team Coast when he was a substitute when Princess Tomato wasn't available, and he subbed in on Guan Yu support, had a great game there, and then next game he was on Geb and performed there too. So he's definitely able to play multi-role and can peel, can tank, can engage. He's very, very flexible.
Sometimes you just need one shot, one opportunity, one chance. You don't want to lose it in the moment.
You see, what you need to learn, right, when you're doing this casting gig, is there's a moment to stop, right? And I just sat quietly and watched you just continue, because I'm like, I wonder if he knows when to stop yet.
I mean, I could keep going all day.
Please do.
And in the solo lane, we do have a little bit of a
Variety trading out with Axioz again. Variety had the advantage in this lane, let's be honest. Axioz started with it, but Variety turned it into he soloed Axioz as this goes on. Left Harpy's being contested again. This brings me back to the old days of Europe, where these Harpies are being fought over so much.
Bacchus using his ultimate to confirm the left side mid Harpies as well. That's how much they really wanted to get those Harpies. They're behind a little bit, so any sort of advantage they can get of gold income in their way is going to go a huge fashion.
Well, let's see if they can get any little advantage. Like you said, Gold Fury, though, being looked at, wards are available for Repikas, and that's what he's going to do, drop the sentry. But look, it's just out of range of that sentry, the other ward that they've got down from Hungry for More. So both teams now have vision, and don't recognize the other team's got vision either.
Not quite yet at all. There's the top side Gold Fury. If you can sentry ward there, then that's how you control the middle and still have vision at the same time. And that's very important. That's really close.
Yeah, it's so close, but it's not close enough is the big one there. Repikas thinks he can do the Gold Fury, and actually is going to clear one ward. So, Hungry for More, no, there's a ward there. Cringe Crew do not recognize, and that's why MANALIKE's clapping there, like, good job, you cleared a ward. Well, you don't realize we've still got a ward there, but now we know you've got one. That's the big one there for them. MANALIKE swinging mid, going to look to clear out the ward himself. He needs to watch himself, though. Wall off the mark. Belch is on the mark, however, and the snipe doesn't connect from Prime either there. And CaptainTwig under pressure through space and time popped. The good ultimate comes out and Shaggyshenk combines with the supernova to delete CaptainTwig. Now under pressure is MANALIKE, who's going to try and survive for now. Got a little bit more healing there. I'm not sure if that was a meditate that I saw popped come out from MANALIKE to keep himself alive after that unstable vortex.
Looks like that was a meditate used by MANALIKE as Ataraxia taking a lot of damage. Going to sustain into the rock heal. Not the highest level in the world
and
right
this
now.
play has allowed them now to start the Gold Fury up. Not much here on defense for Hungry for More to look at. They've got MANALIKE with that Intoxicate, but he's at half health, and they're going to have to let this go. I like the response from Variety, though, realizing this. He will steal away the blue buff. It's just a shame he didn't notice the speed was up as well.
The issue for Hungry for More the last engagement was MANALIKE used his ultimate on the left side mid-Harpy exchange, didn't have it for that encounter. Also, we talked about the balanced team composition out of Cringe Crew. They have the sustain from Axioz, the Geb Shield from EmilZy, the mobility from Thor and Janus, as well as long-range poke from Shaggyshenk. It's just well all-around balance, and they're using it to their advantage off of the early lead that they established for themselves.
Realistically, that was all MANALIKE going through the jungle, finding the Belch, forcing the wall, but then they realized the Belch was down, and we also saw PrettyPriMe use the snipe. When the snipe's been used, the same pain's on cooldown, that was a go sign for Cringe Crew, and Geb goes in with the Cataclysm, sets up the nice pickup for them to find the Gold Fury as well.
Especially when they picked out, they got CaptainTwig through a portal on the ground. They poked him out a little bit, and they through space and time allowed the rest of Cringe Crew to position themselves for an easy opportunity to chase.
Well, right Harpies are available here in a moment's time, and Cringe Crew's Axioz wards it, and he's ready for them. They're just not flashing just yet, so he's going to be careful about Variety pushing in his tower, but Variety pushes the wave, heads back to base, because he's very low on mana.
Cringe Crew sitting at about a 2,500 gold lead at the close to 14-minute mark. We'll see how they transition this. If they're able to defend their solo tower, doesn't look like they're able to.
No, Variety recognized an opportunity there. I know he was low on mana, but that was a very good call from him. He saw the minion wave all go in. Now he's being pressured here. Has he got enough mana for Lawbringer is the question. Well, he doesn't want to use it. Instead, he tries to use the Fearless. He realizes he's tanky enough to weather this storm, and with no ultimate available for Axioz now, he's not got kill potential.
Unless the Janus elected to use through space and time for the rest of Cringe Crew to follow up. It looks like they're just more comfortable poking out the rest of Hungry for More in the mid lane. However, they always have to take into consideration the raw sustain.
And now Axioz trying to return the favor to the tower now, but Axioz is very low on health and mana. He's got a rotation of Twig coming. I don't think he recognizes it. No blue buff available, so no regen coming out from Axioz here, but Meditate is online, the slow. I'm surprised they didn't look at committing there a little bit more, but through space and time, I guess was the call. It was fired, and immediately Hungry for More disengage. Variety trying to head back to base so we can get that teleport to come back and defend one more time. Here it comes, but there's 4 members of Cringe Crew grouping up to try and put the pressure back on.
And now with that, Variety is trying to find a Fearless, not going to find it. Axioz banning himself as he tanks the tower. Fearless is not available for Variety. Searing Pain off the mark for Axioz as the chase continues.
Yeah, they did hit Axioz on that, but the shield was up, and Twig still looking for a pick. Going to hit Kero, force of purification. EmilZy surrounded and alone now, but support from Repikas will create a zone for EmilZy to just walk away.
Exactly what Repikas was intending to do. He just wanted to use the ultimate, buy a little bit of time, instantly hammering away. There was no Fearless available after the Lawbringer. That would have been a really good play to Fearless any member under the Tier 1 tower and punishing Cringe Crew for their aggression.
But again, Sustain coming into play. Raw here from PrettyPriMe is going to allow them to look to steal away the speed buff. They will successfully do that as the wall and still a burst comes out, though, from Shaggyshenk. Put some pressure on there, but he's not going to be able to find a kill here onto MANALIKE. Disapparate is now used. Still giving chase, though, with Supernova. MANALIKE surrounded. MANALIKE will actually fall down. Shaggyshenk committing so deep for that one. Knew he had support, but now he's in trouble. Good shield comes out from EmilZy to keep him away from the danger. Variety has to disengage with Lawbringer. Shaggyshenk getting sniped. 1 hit, not the other 2, though.
Variety was doing a good job body blocking the soul at the beginning. He was just taking a little bit too much damage, having to use Lawbringer to escape defensively. So far, it's a 1-for-0 trade in the favor of Cringe Crew. They also have the sustain from Guan Yu. They should be using their advantage towards pushing the middle wave.
And you call it, and that's what they're doing. They just sustain themselves back up. Look for this. Variety having to head back to base here. Twig and Prime on the right-hand side clearing the blue buff out, which now means that they're going to lose the Tier 1 tower in mid lane for free.
Tier 1 tower at the 16-minute mark. A little bit of an advantage for Cringe Crew. Not the end of the world for Hungry for More. They just can't lose all their Tier 1 towers. If they only lose Tier 1 mid, that's fine. They can deal with it. They pick up their speed buff in return. They're going to establish themselves with some vision around Gold Fury because they're more focused about defending Gold Fury than their Tier 1 mid tower. Because if they lost more members trying to defend that Tier 1 mid tower, then that could have been a potential Tier 2.
And you look at the towers as well, you can see they are even on the map though. Tier 1 in mid down for Cringe Crew, and meanwhile on the right hand side, Hungry for More have taken down that one on the right hand side. So one tier 1 tower each. So when you go to the graphs, and we'll see the difference in gold and experience, it's still Cringe Crew's favor. And most of that is the gold for you, and the team fight is just going so much better for them.
So at the 3-minute mark, Cringe Crew were up about 1,000 gold. Now it's coming up to the 17. They're almost 3,000, so slowly and surely building their lead. They're going to have one more explosive team fight to establish that lead a little bit further, as Gold Fury is responding in about 20 seconds. Cringe Crew positioning themselves with some offensive wards.
Yeah, offensive wards. Repikas going to go in the jungle, find out the red buff has just been taken, actually given over to Ataraxia there, mainly because PrettyPriMe had the speed buff from when they stole it away in the jungle of Cringe Crew. Left-hand side, just more, all the members of Hungry for More over that side, as Axioz is still trying to keep Variety's tower down on its last legs.
Looks like Janus accidentally fatty-fingered his Sanctuary, so that's a big, important cooldown. Obviously, Hungry for More...
You're mean. Pro players hate that, you know. They're like, I hope they don't
incoming
notice
Reddit thread my way.
No, you're mean, but it's good.
Oh, my meme. I thought you said you're mean.
No, you're mean. I did say you're mean. I think it's good, though, to point out that he fat-fingered it, but the pros was like, I hope he didn't notice. But you did.
I definitely noticed it, obviously.
And now you told the world.
I told the world, but I didn't tell Hungry for More, so we'll see if they're able to take advantage of it during the cooldown. Still down for about 130 seconds. If MANALIKE is able to find a belly flop onto the Janus, PrettyPriMe will follow that up with a Searing Pain.
That's Kero. That's what confused me more then.
Oh yeah, he was just playing that last game,
totally.
PrettyPriMe.
Oh, totally. You were half right and half wrong, so it evens out, right?
It's all right. There's a Reddit thread somewhere
That's
being made
fine.
about that.
There's always a Reddit thread. Wall does connect, but wrong side of the wall, unfortunately, so through space and time going to miss just off the mark. Ataraxia did use his Purification there, though, just because of that wall, but trading out his Purification for through space and time at this stage when the Gold Fury's up, it's not too bad.
And now CaptainTwig just going to slow out Repikas. No follow-up as well. And speed buff is available for Cringe Crew. Gold Fury is available for Hungry for More if they overextend towards that solo lane side. Through space and time is not available, but it looks like Hungry for More don't recognize this opportunity for them.
Maybe not, especially with PrettyPriMe on that Raw as well. With the Searing Pain available to them, they have good executes alongside Intoxicate as well. EmilZy with Shaggyshenk knows what's going on. There's a ward just around the corner, so they spotted out. MANALIKE just going to walk up towards them now. Rollout being used by EmilZy to try and recreate his own, knowing the Gold Fury is being done here. Shaggyshenk being looked at by MANALIKE. Gold Fury resets as Repikas dunks in the back, but doesn't find anyone. Double tap doesn't really hit the mark, but they're looking at Prime at the moment, still pressuring him. Cavalry charge from Axioz after the teleport. He goes around looking for someone, but he's alone. He takes a lot of tower damage for completely free, and the snipe from Prime is on the mark. Axioz falls. Meanwhile, Repikas, he's being zoned away by Variety. Shaggyshenk can't do a lot there either. And so they pick up a kill onto Axioz, who just committed a little bit too much there. And now Gold Fury is looking good for Hungry for More.
The way the disengage happened from Hungry for More was even more impressive. They used the sprint as well. The Sanctuary bought enough time for the rise. We do have initiation.
And there's some pressure coming out from EmilZy. Support from Shaggyshenk. Cringe Crew gets the Gold Fury. The Stellar Burst was on the mark. It was indeed stellar. EmilZy will fall for it, but he'll take the fact that he dies there to make sure his team get that 20-minute Gold Fury.
Trading one member as well. So far, 5v3 power play for Hungry for More. They're going to need to be able to respond with a tier 1 mid tower of their own. They have the raw sustain to their advantage, so they have to respond.
Tier 1 tower going to be, like you said, taken down. Maybe they could look at a tier 2 here. They've got sustain to keep them alive here and pressure, but 3 members of Cringe Crew defending makes Hungry for More retreat to their own side of the map. They'll check the speed buff on the way, though, realize it is currently down, but they will find the right and Harbies as a consolation prize.
So Cringe Crew slowly building up their lead, getting a little bit of a gold off of that Gold Fury. However, trading out the gold off of the tier 1 mid tower and some experience.
Oh, they're going to commit in mid lane here, but look at the commitment onto Shaggyshenk. He's down before Repikas lands. He gets a Berserker Barrage off, eats a snipe. Meanwhile, on the back, Kero has been focused down by the backline of Variety, and Ataraxia finding him out of position there as well. Now Hungry for More have a play in mid lane. They can look at the tier 2. 2 members of Cringe Crew are dead.
Yeah, 2 members are dead. Thor has to back right now. This is a 5v2 play as Tyr goes into the jungle, trying to spot out the Thor, not going to see him. And this should be a tier 2 tower for Hungry for More.
Axioz under pressure, going to get hit by the combo of the Fearless Power Cleave. The cavalry charge is propped. This last snipe does miss. And still Twig taking tower shots, one too many as EmilZy finds a solo play there with that knock up to keep him in tower range. Purification forced though onto Repikas. The towers should fall.
They still get the tower. The sustain from the Raw was enough. That was a beautiful knockup from EmilZy at the edge of the tower, securing the kill onto CaptainTwig, allowing one more tower shot onto him for the kill. That's really impressive to follow up the CC, timing it just to make sure, like, okay, he's almost dead, but here comes another tower shot. Boom, CC secures the kill. Unfortunately, even though they do have all members up for Cringe Crew, they're not going to be able to find anything in return. However, through space and time is used in the milling. They want to get something.
Who are they chasing? It looks like it's going to be be MANALIKE, but I mean, that's a Bacchus with belly flop probably available. There you go, he flops to mid, but look at the pressure in mid. Wall does connect, isolation onto the unstable Vortex as well, Berserker Barrage. MANALIKE still alive, not for long enough, however, though, as the heal came down just a moment too late to provide something. Now it's Cringe Crew for the tier 2, but Variety on his way in.
Variety on his way in does find the blink, not able to find the Fearless quite yet, just making a presence known for himself. And even though he doesn't find the Fearless, he's getting the rest of Cringe Crew off of the tier 2 tower, which is very important. That's your goal and your objective.
Switches to power cleave as well, to defensive stance, gets the power cleave off. Meanwhile, Axioz delete in the backline again, very deep, but the rest of the team are trying to bring down the tier 2 tower here. Variety and Twig are creating a very good front line, however, to stop them bringing it down enough. Twig under pressure has to dash away from the danger zone. That is Shaggyshenk. Disapparate used from there. So they may be an opportunity for Hungry for more aggression if they want it. MANALIKE just respawned, but Cringe Crew still want to keep going in mid lane.
Both teams having sustained. Cringe Crew with the Guan Yu, hungry for more with the Raw, as we do have EmilZy blinking into the back line.
Blink Cataclysm did connect there. Axioz on the backside as the front line of Variety and CaptainTwig try to keep the damage dealers at bay. Kero below half health here, has been hit into the wall with the first, but a Geb shield from EmilZy will keep him alive, allowing to pull, but a Lawbringer on belly flop will bring him down for the kill. On the back of that, Ataraxia has had to use Sagittarius. He will fall to Repikas, but Repikas fearless, power cleaved again. The belch is good, but he does jump onto a hammer to get out. Stellar burst from Shaggyshenk. He's poking down, hungry for more, but the raw heals are doing their work too.
At the end of the day, hungry for more defender tier 2 tower. They didn't have the Janus ultimate for the disengage for Kero, as they used it earlier to be able to find the kill onto MANALIKE, which is what started the whole initiation and the push to begin with. So now both teams kind of resetting, as Golfier is responding in about the 1 minute.
Now Kero though, was he out of position, or was he just not aware of his team's movements in that fight? Because it looked like he was okay for most part, then all of a sudden you look at him, he's like, well, you're out of position, you're not near a wall either. What's going on?
When you get pinned against the wall from tier, and if you don't have your purification time, or even if you use it just a little bit too late, you're still going to get juggled for a little bit, and that's going to allow a lot of follow-up damage remaining. He was able to successfully portal through the wall, but it didn't matter, as the tier and the Bacchus had tools at their disposal to chase the kill.
And that, because they found that kill as well, it made Cringe Crew have to relieve the pressure on that tier 2 tower now. So back to farming again. Let's go to the graphs and just see how things are looking after that little skirmish there. The lead from Cringe Crew is slowly but surely diminishing. I mean, they've still had that lead from minute 2 in the game of 1,000 gold. They're still up that, but they've not really developed on it now.
It's 20 minutes later from when that 2-0 happened at the beginning of the game, and this lead that Cringe Crew has now is a lot less meaningful, so Hungry for More can play around that, and they can still play aggressive as well. Cringe Crew cannot play the same style that they did at the tier 2 tower in the dual lane side when they had Axioz go aggressively. They had EmilZy shield him as well, exposing their backline, and they got punished for it.
The shining light right now is definitely Repikas on the side of Cringe Crew, having a very good game once again. 6-0-5, nearly reached full build here. I'm expecting to see Brawler's Beatsteak potentially coming out from him next as well, just for some anti-heal on those abilities, trying to slow down the amount that Prime's put it out. And we actually, can we see the healing graphs as well? Because we've got a Guan and we've got a PrettyPriMe on that Raw as well, and we can see the Raw's a little bit higher up at the moment.
So far, the Raw's sitting at 16,000, whereas the Guan Yu is at 13. Looks like we have some more healing from Ataraxia and the Bacchus as well, having the meditation, having the tools at your disposal for the Chiron as well.
Yeah, the Chiron's about the passive just coming into play there, just a little bit, providing a little bit of extra sustain, mainly for himself more than anyone, but hey, it factors.
There's also the Rod of Asclepius onto the Raw, going to provide that extra movement, the extra health, and the extra healing.
Did get buff last patch, we didn't see much of it, but healer's been getting a lot of love lately in the patches, and it seems that Hungry for More have recognized that. A little bit of pressure coming out there from Hungry for More. It was actually Cringe Crew that were looking for it, but it was Hungry for More that returned the damage, and now they're going to pull the Gold Fury here, and on zone duty is MANALIKE at the moment. Variety in mid lane as EmilZy going to do a very good job of using that rollout to get into a better position to check it's not still being done. Both teams just vying, jockeying for position in the jungle.
Through space and time was used, not going to be available for the rest of this team fight, and that should mean open doors for Hungry for More. They're going to be able to go all in this situation and not have to worry about the disengage from Cringe Crew.
All ultimates available, apart from through space and time from Kero, so just keep an eye on that one. MANALIKE on the front side, going to miss the flop. Berserker Barrage used nicely from Repikas to avoid the knock up there. Wasn't for damage, just for defensive use. And still, jockeying again for position.
Tier's looking for something aggressively. Going to blink onto the Janus.
Nice pick up there. Power cleave hits. He's away from the portal too. He will eventually get back, but already down to half health. The snipe just off the mark from Prime. If it would have connected, Kero would have been deleted. Body blocks though onto Repikas, going to force him into the sky. Good shield from EmilZy. Made sure the Intoxicate did not find the kill, but this should mean that Cringe Crew have to give up this Gold Fury.
We do have EmilZy wanting to contest it. We'll see if he's going to find the Blink ultimate setup for the rest of his team.
Repi's in trouble there, under pressure from Variety, still being chased down. Variety just creating a backline option. Axioz, though, keeping the boys of Hungry for More busy as EmilZy initiates with Cataclysm. Cavalry charge from Axioz on point. Does hit Ataraxia. No follow-up from his team, though, as his team on the back are being pressured once more by Variety.
Variety doing a good job zoning Kero in a little trouble, able to portal through the wall. Repikas initiating in, and it's going to disengage as Ataraxia Sanctuary buys him enough time to survive. The Soul Ultimate from Ataraxia, not able to find the kill. The Raw Sustain in the back, keeping everybody topped off.
Keep the sustain going is the call from Cringe Crew, but the snipe from Prime annihilates Shaggyshenk. Twig picks up Axioz, the healing's down, and EmilZy going to get a great wall from Repikas. It's a point berserker barrage from Repi. He's not going to find the kill on Prime. He gets shut down by Ataraxia, and my oh my, that fight could have gone either way. That was one of my fights of the season between those two teams.
Rod of Asclepius right there at its finest, showing off. Just barely able to survive that was PrettyPriMe. Having the mobility as well with his passive, lasting a little bit longer as well due to recent patch notes changes.
Now that fight as well, when you look at it, it was like Hungry for More in favor, then it went to Cringe Crew because of the sustain, then it went more to Cringe Crew, but the Variety was keeping him busy. And then the snipe from Prime turns everything on his head because he falls, and then Axioz, he ends up dying too, which means the healing's gone. And Cringe Crew lose the fight. And the Gold, oh, they don't lose the Gold Fury, that was
not quite yet. PrettyPriMe was firing his laser, and he now hungry for more, or hungry for this Fire Giant buff, as the Guan Yu, Thor, and the Soul are still dead. 5v2 power play. Kero gonna get poked out by Variety in the backline, making sure that through space and time is not going to be used.
And even if it is, it won't be much follow-up from Kero there. Has to pull away. EmilZy has to Cataclysm and get the knock-up through space and time off the mark. Hungry for More, get the Fire Giant. The portal, though, will allow EmilZy away, but Variety's there for the cleanup with the power cleave. Fearless combination. EmilZy still trying to get to that portal. Will find it with a shield, but the Lawbringer on point. Conviction, though, from Axioz to keep him alive. The snipes from Ataraxia. All three connect. The dunk onto Twig, but the shield is better. Repikas doesn't find the dunk on Twig, who dashes away. And now Hungry for More, 5 men strong, have the Fire Giant and can look for the middle Phoenix.
They're going to look for the Gold Fury in the meantime. They'll eventually get to that middle Phoenix, establishing themselves a comeback ever since the 2 to 3 minute mark when they lost 2 people down. Now they're in a position, they're 12 and 11, they just got Fire Giant, they're about to get Gold Fury to establish themselves with a lead for the first time into the game.
Variety pretty much on zone control here, recognizing he doesn't see anybody. He's going to push at the left-hand side, looking for the tier 1 tower there, right-hand side. You can see Axioz just taking his blue buff, recognizing they can't contest this Gold Fury. They're going to lose a tier 1 here. Shaggy's out of position. Shaggy is in trouble here.
Taking a lot of damage from CaptainTwig's ultimate, going to wait for him to come out. They're going to look to disengage, going to be very content with just grabbing this tier 1 tower. A lot of sustain available for Hungry for More, and it's going to be very difficult for Cringe Crew to defend this tier 2 tower.
There's no minions here, and Hungry for More, the way they played game 1, it looks like they're going to do the same thing in game 2. Not going to overcommit if they can help it. Play it very, very passively. Repikas just took a tumble in the last fight for his first death, and that shutdown went to Ataraxia, so another boon in gold. And when I actually mentioned Ataraxia a little bit more, because he's working on Fatalis next in this build.
Working on the Fatalis, like we mentioned before, having a lot of mobility in his kit is something that Ataraxia leans forward to. He uses that to his strength and advantage. Also, PrettyPriMe with a lot of mobility with the Rod of Asclepius and his passive. Those 2 backline members, if they ever get dove by Axioz specifically, they'll be able to duck, dodge, dip, dive, and weave.
See, if you're going to tie dokes, make sure they come out your mouth properly.
The 5 Ds.
I have the 5 Ds. I don't know if I like 5Ds. Tier 1 tower just go down in response though from Cringe Crew on the left-hand side, so that evens up that lane a little bit more gold for them. We're starting to approach, we just passed 30 minutes, which means most teams at this stage would normally be approaching, I'd say, final build, like 6 item, but there's been so much action and fighting over this Gold Fury and around the Harpies that there's not been that much gold in this game, to be fair.
Not that much gold right now at this stage of the game. There should be some team about the 70,000 mark or above. Teams are a little bit slow right now because of how long these team fights have engaged around the Gold Fury. They've been dancing and playing footsies. As we do see in the tier 2 tower on the dual lane side, Hungry for More are going to look to want to put pressure, and not really much Cringe Crew are going to try to just be patient about it. They don't want to leave their tower currently.
There's not long left on this Fire Giant now. We're running into the last minute of it, and they need to try and make something happen, but they've allowed Cringe Crew to get up a good defense here with all 5 members on this left-hand side of the map. Twig takes aggro from the tower a little bit, but they're not getting any pressure on now as the wall does hit and the double tap onto him, but the sustain from that Rod of Asclepius, as now Variety does create the zone at the back line, and that's all he was looking to do, allow them to get the tier 2, but Cringe Crew won't be too sad right now because that's all they've lost so far.
That's how they lost so far. However, Hungry for More, they're going to look to engage this Phoenix. We'll see if they're going to be able to be quick about it or if they're going to be very slow and careful. Variety in the backline, zoning out 2 from the side. Ataraxia and PrettyPriMe playing from the backhand side as they do get chased down by Axioz.
Prime's positioning here is pretty good, but Repikas dunks it onto Twig, who immediately purifies that away. Meanwhile, Kero being poked by Variety. I'm sick of saying Variety's name because that's all he's doing. He's causing an issue for Cringe Crew every single time on this tier. Has Lawbringer available, and he may be looking to go over the wall, but initiation from EmilZy is good, but Prime finds a snipe on the healer, which was Axioz. He's now down, so EmilZy has to bravely run away. Phoenix falls, the Phoenix in mid, now being pressured.
Beautifully executed from Hungry for More. They wait, they synergized the Nemesis and Raw Ultimate, instantly took away Axioz. Now not having the sustain is going to put Hungry for More in a really good situation. They're up 5v4. They have the sustain from Fire Giant, or actually as it just fades away, they still have the sustain from the Raw as well, and taking the sustain away from Cringe Crew is going to be very important for this next Siege and the Fire Giant push.
They took a long time with that Fire Giant to really make something happen with it, but they still found what was important. Now they're going to have the opportunity after that tier 2 tower fall to strip the jungle, head back to base, buy some more wall coverage for the next Fire Giant spawn, spend that gold.
Spending that gold currently in hand, a lot of members over 1,500 each, 7,500 gold in the lead. They were down at 1,350, so really good 10,000 gold swing in the favor of Hungry for More ever since about the 13-minute mark.
Yeah, it's been a long game once again from both these two teams. I mean, Cringe Crew for both games for me had control of the early game. But then, once the team fights got to a stage, Hungry for More just seemed to have it click a little bit better, I want to say, more than anything.
They were just very patient, and they didn't panic whenever they were getting dove. They retreated when they needed to, and they aggressed, more importantly, when they needed to. They held on to the Raw. So at the beginning of the left side mid-Harpies, we saw when the Raw ult was used a little bit too early, but then later on, during the Gold Fury fight, when they were chasing above that red buff side, we saw the ulti from PrettyPriMe just connecting onto Shaggyshenk, and that's what opened the door.
And Prime's position on his Raw here, he's been playing very, very deep so he can sustain his team, but also, if they want to try and find him and delete that healer, they've got to go so deep, it kind of creates a big divide between the front line and the back line of Cringe Crew.
There's a lot of damage if you're going to try to commit onto PrettyPriMe as well. Ataraxia will sit right beside him as well. The Rod of Asclepius will buy enough mobility, the health, and the Sanctuary for PrettyPriMe to buy enough time, basically, to survive against the all-in from Axioz and Repikas.
Variety keeping 3 busy, but Axioz does manage to get to the Fire Giant and see what's going on. Immediately, though, Hungry for More reset it and turn their attention to Axioz, and the damage was amazing! One more shot will be enough to snipe. 1 misses, snipe 2 connects, snipe 3 is not enough. And there you see Kero ult in and immediately get ult back out again. His CaptainTwig is going to run him down and look for the kill now. Sanctuary already used, he finds the in-hand, and Twig has done that all day. He's hunted the mid laner and he's found himself another kill.
Last game it was on the Scylla. This game it's on the Janus. Their space and time was used earlier on, so it's looking very grim right now for Cringe Crew. EmilZy trying to find a return kill out to CaptainTwig. Repikas not able to find the hammer. Fire Giant is getting a little low.
Goodbye, Shaggyshenk, you will be missed. He gets some damage off, but he'll still fall down to PrettyPriMe again. The slow and Axioz are going to keep him pinned for Ataraxia to give chase with the Fatalis, and he'll go onto a killing spree. Fire Giant still stands, however, as Twig hasn't gone back to base just yet. He's still hanging around here. They're looking for Repikas. Belch going to connect, but he will jump to his hammer and head back to mid lane. EmilZy gets stopped by the fire minions from recalling, which is now allowing Hungry for More to look at the Phoenix on the right side.
They're going to look for an advantage right now. 5v2. There's no Fire Giant available, but they don't need it. They have the Raw sustain available. They won the first game. They got all 3 Phoenixes down. They should be able to close this out once there's a fire wave into the Titan room for them to tank it.
Can they do it? There's flop from MANALIKE, going to engage on EmilZy. They find the kill with a snipe from Prime. Reppy in the sky going to dunk in, but I don't think he can stop this. Hungry for More have defeated Cringe Crew 2-0, and they will take 3rd place for now. For now is the big one. There's
more important sets to come. A lot of these European teams are very close together, with sitting at 10 and 11 wins together. This puts Hungry for More 12 and 10 in a very good spot for the remaining 2 weeks.
12 and 10, but Cringe Crew 10 and 10. So they've still got an extra game in hand over Hungry for More, as you can see. This game, though, let's go right back to the beginning of it one more time, because game 2, well, it started off very similar to game 1 in favor of Cringe Crew.
We saw the double kill early on in the second game. The Thor passive really showing off just how useful it is. Able to find the early kill, and then meanwhile Axioz recognized that he'd be able to zone him out and get the second kill in response. They weren't able, Cringe Crew, to establish that much of a dominant lead early on in response to those 2 kills.
I think, what was the reason for that? Was it just because of the defensive factor that we saw come out from Hungry for More? Was it just like they didn't have an opportunity?
They didn't look for the little invades at first. They needed to be able to control the mid-Harpies earlier on after the double kill, then look for potentially a speed or a blue buff. I thought that they delayed their speed buff initially, and then from there, they didn't invade so they delayed their own speed. They tried to invade the enemy speed. They didn't get it. They tried to go for blue. Didn't work out for them. They just couldn't find something off the 2 kills.
Now, Repikas, like we said, Cringe Crew got off to a good start in this game. Repikas himself on that Thor did some good plays, had a very good scoreline, didn't die until, like, I believe, over 30 minutes in. And that was the end of one of the plays that I saw that I really enjoyed, where he goes in, goes out, goes in. And this is the big pickup on the double kill here.
This was the instant triple setup from the Unstable Vortex and the Hammer. EmilZy doing a good job buying enough time for the rest of his team to clean up. This is when the through space and time was used to find the second kill from Hungry for More, trying to return the tier 2 tower. Objectively, Cringe Crew tried to make these plays, but Hungry for More kept defending so beautifully.
Yeah, Repikas very good with those walls for the most part, and managing to just sneak around and stay alive. And Repi actually getting credit for that kill onto, you see, Ataraxia, who used Sagittarius. Didn't find the turnaround kill, though. But that was obviously Cringe Crew. They didn't win the game. It was Hungry for More, and Variety in the solo lane made an impact again. All I did was say his name in every fight. And it wasn't because I was trying to big him up. It was just like, that's what he was doing. He was doing his job.
He was doing his job indeed. Earlier on, he died, but then he still finds the return kill onto Axioz regardless, having the sustain and then afterwards, he was able to just rotate, you know, catching Shaggyshenk going through the wall here, then shortly after, which was the triple kill here. But either way, he was positioning himself so beautifully in all these teamfights, rotating every which way.
Yeah, and once again, just focusing Kero every time he saw him, focusing onto Shaggyshenk every time he saw him, as you just saw there, just running them down and keeping them busy on this tier, finding himself a kill there and the assist as well. So good plays coming out from Variety.
And that's what you have to do if you're hungry for more in order to get these 2 wins, putting themselves at number 3, 12 and 10, currently actually number 2. Taken over Paradigm.
I didn't realize it was taken over Paradigm because of that, but yeah, Hungry for More have climbed from the depths of despair. They were the bottom of the Pro League, I believe, at the end of week 2. Look at them now, shining bright like a diamond in second. Paradigm and Cringe Crew and Team Dignitas, though, they're not out of the running yet. Every single one of those teams from 2nd to 5th are in contention. And when we go to the schedule here, you'll see Dignitas versus Torpedo is next, which should see Dignitas rise, all being well, as Torpedo have something in store. And finally, we round out the day with a pretty good game.
Pretty good games indeed. I'm curious to see how Dignitas is going to respond after this set. They definitely need to if they want to get in contention for that 2nd to 3rd spot as well.
Dignitas up next versus Torpedo. We'll be back after this break with that game.